This is a junk journal with me using a brand new autumn prompt list created for you by my friend Maud from the Netherlands and myself. Welcome, this is Barbara from Vienna, Austria, and this is your channel for vintage inspired art and junk journaling. Maud and I each came up with 15 prompts, so together we have a list of 30 prompts for autumn for you to use as you wish. You can tackle them in order, or you can pick a random one that sparks your interest on any particular day. So this list is really just for inspiration. So if, for example, a word or a phrase jumps out at you and you have another idea of how to use that prompt, then please, by all means, do that. Feel free to change any of them. These are not rules. They're to spark your imagination. So I know Maud tackled prompt number 7, which says, make a miniature bunting out of leftover pieces of designer paper, fabric, lace, and other discarded bits on your desk. This is also great to send as happy mail. Decorate a page with this mini bunting. If you don't know what bunting is, like me, I just found this out a few months ago because I was searching for that word. I will show you a picture right here what bunting actually is. So I haven't seen Maud's video yet, but she sent me a sneak peek of her finished spread and it is super adorable. So I can't wait to see her video. And of course, I'm linking that for you in the description box below. When you read through this prompt list, you will notice that almost all of these prompts are crafting prompts rather than writing prompts. Because I figure we can write about what we like, but sometimes we need help in finding a creative way to add that writing to our journals. And I think the first one that I'm going to try to do is number 5. Attach an autumn-themed envelope to your page and put something special inside. And the reason why this one jumps out at me today is because I have something special that I want a special place for. So this is just perfect. And by the way, in case I haven't mentioned it, of course, this prompt list is linked for you in the description box for free and you can just print it. If you want it like this without borders, then make sure that you set your printer on borderless printing before you print it. I will be, of course, adding this to my journal once it is completed. And speaking of my journal, so I currently have these 2 completed signatures here, and I will of course link my playlist of all these journal with me's for you as well again. And I also will be adding the summer prompt list that we were working on. I've done about half of these prompts, so that's fine. And of course, I will later be adding this one here as well. My plan is to have 3 signatures in the end to then make into a journal and then figure out my cover situation and everything. So I'm going to need a new page to start a new signature. And I chose this one that was gifted to me a long time ago. It is from some mathematical or physics book or something like that. And I think this is a really nice background to have. In school, I would have hated this so much. But thankfully, I can just now view it as decoration and I don't have to worry about figuring out how to calculate any of this. So I chose this one also because, of course, of the size. So when I compare this, it is a little bit wider, which is good. And it's pretty much the same height. So I think it will work well with my other 2 signatures. So we have this to work on. Let's see how we can tackle this prompt. I want to start out by making a really super easy envelope, and I'm going to use some book pages for that. And these book pages came from this Reader's Digest book that I have used to make my bullet junk journal. If you're interested in this and you haven't seen these videos, I will link the playlist for my bullet junk journal altered book for you as well. So maybe I'll give you a sneak peek of some pages you haven't seen yet because I have been working off camera. So this is the spread for last week Was it last week? Well, it's September 7 to 13. So yeah, it's last week. This is my to-dos and my grateful thing. And then this is then the next week. And again, this is my decorations. And then this is the next week up until September 27th. Again, using mushrooms and everything. So what I do is I rip out always 7 pages. So keep in mind, this is a book where the pages are glued in rather than sewn in. So I can randomly tear out pages without it falling apart. So I tear out 7 pages and then I glue 2 together and then I make my spreads. So this is where these come from. So I have a bunch of these left over and these are just perfect to use. For example, for making envelopes, you can make pockets, you can make so many different kinds of embellishments with them. So please never throw your book pages away. They are very valuable. What you want to make sure is when you fold your paper, that you have it laying so that when you, because we're going to be folding one up and then the flap down, is to have it, when you start off, that the writing is upside down, because that way when we fold it up, then it'll be the right side up for the bottom of the envelope. So I'm folding up, as you can see, maybe about 1/3 of the height of the paper. And now I'm going to take my bone folder. That is not very straight. And just make a nice crease. And then for the flap, I don't like going all the way to the edge because I think it's easier to put things in if there's a little space. So I want to fold the top down, but overlapping it still enough here because I do want to punch out a little half circle here. I happen to have a 1.5 inch or 3.8 centimeter circle punch. This is totally optional. I just think it's a nice touch if you have one, but you don't need it actually. So I'm kind of eyeballing where the center is, and then I just cut out a piece like this. And now you can either then just glue up these 2 sides, or you could sew them with your sewing machine. But before I do either of that, I'm going to ink around my edges with my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, just because I really like the vintage look. You don't have to do this. This is just me. So I've inked up all the edges, front and back, because I don't know yet how I'm going to attach this to my page. So maybe it'll just be a floating envelope. And as you can see, I've already added a zigzag stitch with my sewing machine. But again, if you don't have a sewing machine, do not worry. You just put glue on this side and on this side and you are ready to go. So now we're ready to decorate this envelope. And of course, I want to keep this autumn themed. So what I think I want to do is start off with using some scraps for creating kind of like a little collage, a little background, and then maybe we'll add some mushrooms. Surprise, surprise. We'll see. So I have my box of scraps here. As you can see, they are pretty much all neutral colored, which is perfect. Ooh, I just saw something that I really like, which is this one. Oh yeah, this was an experiment. Isn't that cool? I was using some alcohol inks on coffee dyed paper, and I don't know what else I added, unfortunately. I wish I knew, but I really love this paper, so maybe I'll use some of this. So I'm just gonna have this here beside me. And one of the other things I might use are these tickets. Now this is actually from a new printable that I have in my shop, which is a scan of some vintage tickets. So I think these are so fun to use. And so I've printed mine out on 160 GSM paper, and I've already inked all around them. And when you see the print, you'll see that they are actual used tickets. So they have like these holes where they're punched, and they also have like these indentations where they were punched. So I also punched out the holes where it had the holes, and I also cut out the indentations, like you can see here. So I think they really do look vintage once they are inked up and printed like this, but you see on the back side, of course, they are just on white paper. So I think these are very fun to use in collages, or even just to put in small pockets for ephemera and stuff. So I think I'll be using some of these in the background as well. So I want to decorate, I think, both something on this part and of course on the flap as well. So I'm just going to start picking some random bits out of my scrap box and see what happens, basically. I have no plan, as always. I do like my torn edges. So I'm just tearing down this straight edge. And I do like working with rectangular shaped pieces. That just kind of works out better for me. So loving that as it is, but I will continue. I'm just gonna open this to make it easier. Now, I don't think I want any pinks, because the mushroom, that's not gonna go with the mushrooms, I think. Blue might be nice. I really like this one. So maybe I'll keep that. Not gonna use anything with red, because maybe one of the mushrooms I will use will have red in it, and then this will be too dominant. So I'm looking for ticket colors that will stay in the background. This one is great, it's very neutral. So I'd say one of these two, and they are quite big. You can of course always reduce the size of what you print as well. I think I'll just go for the blue one. And I'm going to tear it off because it's just too big, and I'm going to tear it in a way so that I know this one is going to be awesome to use in another project. I will need to ink over that white edge because no white edges in my vintage collages. Loving that, very simple. Here I have some leftover coffee dyed paper that is just gorgeous. Have that peeking out like that. And usually I like to put down things either vertically or horizontally, but I want to challenge myself to be a little bit more random. So this is why I'm going out of my comfort zone and I'm putting this like at an angle. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go through my mushroom prints. Now I also have, if you don't have any like from vintage books, maybe you were able to make copies of some images you have in your own vintage books, or you already have some downloads from somewhere. I had some as freebies, but unfortunately that time period has passed. I will have other freebies, I promise. But these are ones you can download if you want from my shop. I will link them below for you as well. But again, I don't want to like use what you have. Seriously, we all have too much. I know I have too much. So let me see, what do I want here? Obviously it can't be too big. So a lot of these, oh, this is actually quite nice. And as you can see, I've torn these rather than fussy cutting them. I always used to fussy cut, but Tina from Shabby Dabby Do That always tears, and she has really inspired me to try that, and I'm loving it. I love the rough edge anyway. I really like this one, but it's covering a lot. It's kind of too big. Most of these, unfortunately, are too big. I have these, which are from a separate printout. They are definitely smaller, so maybe this is the way to go. I could tear some out of from these. Ooh, Oh yes, I see some great candidates in these. Oh, I am really loving this one right here. So let me just try to tear that one. I am going to ink around the edges because I do want the edges to stand out because this is my focal point. I love this little guy right here. So just a tiny collage. Love it, love it. And I wanted to also let you know, so my art glitter glue has finally emptied. And I mentioned before, I wanted to try to add some tacky glue in this bottle because I actually only bought this bottle because I wanted this convenient sized bottle and I wanted this metallic tip in particular because of the nice way the glue was flowing from it. So now I added the tacky glue and I added just a few drops of water to just thin it a little bit, and I stirred it with like a little wooden stick. And I've been using it for a little while, not too long, and as far as I can see, it's fine. I mean, of course, it doesn't have the quality of the art glitter glue, but I must say, I think I'm gonna use this now. And I do have another original art glitter glue bottle as backup because I didn't know whether this was gonna work, but it flows out nicely and it does the job. So if you want a cheaper solution, then maybe that's something you could buy, you could try. You just get one of these and I will link them down below for you with the tip, and then you're good to go. And as I've mentioned, I just love this because of the way you are able to glue one-handed like this. So it's perfect. And I'm going to use my method of gluing top down. So I'm just taking the piece that's on top and I'm just gonna glue it on the rest and then continue from there, because I find that is the easiest way for collaging rather than trying to start from the bottom and then try to work your way up and then you forget how everything was glued. It does take a little bit of practice, at least for me it did. So don't give up if it's a bit frustrating the first time, just keep going, it takes practice. And now from the back I can see what parts haven't been glued down yet, and I'll just add glue where necessary. It is really a quick method, especially with small collages. So now I have one piece and I can very easily just glue that down. So there's our first little collage. And now we need something for the flap. I think it would be a bit much if we would add another mushroom to the flap, so I don't want to do that. I thought I would rather add a sentiment. And one that I chose is this one that says Happy Place. This is from my printables from my shop as well. I think these are the nature themed ones. I will link those for you below as well, but of course you can just handwrite something or stamp something, or maybe you have some other sentiments you can use. Now obviously this is way too white, so I will need to go over that. I'm going to use my tea dye distress oxide and my blending brush. I will link these for you as well, and I'm just going to go over this to get rid of the white. This way it will blend in better. And I will ink around the edges of this as well with my vintage photo to just make it stand out more. So this is what it looks like now. And just as I was looking for something else, I actually came across these leaves, which are like a felt, and these were gifted to me. And I think these might be really fun maybe to have on this envelope flap. So I'm going to choose one of the smaller ones and try to cut that off. They have wires here. Oh, it looks like I can actually just take it off the wire. That's perfect. These kind of things, a lot of times you can just find in craft stores or in stores that have any kind of home decor things. So let's see if we can make that work. Obviously, it's gonna need some more background elements. I think it might need 2 of these. So let me see if I can find another small one. Yep, I can just peel that off. Oh, but the thing is, I cannot have them go over the flap because otherwise I won't be able to open it anymore. So I need to be mindful of that. Still, I could kind of overlap them like this, which kind of makes it bulky, but I still think it's really cute. And I could have my happy place. I could put that on something else. I do like that a lot. So I need to find something to put this on. Do I want to put it on one of these, maybe? Okay, I do like that. So I'm gonna need my tearing ruler. So this is my tearing ruler from Joy Crafts. It is metal and I love it. The only thing maybe I don't love as much is that I can't see through it, which sometimes makes it hard to know if you're doing it straight or not. Okay, I'm just gonna have 2 torn edges and 2 straight edges just because that's the way it is, and that's fine. Just adding a little more vintage photo on those torn edges. So I'm gonna glue this onto each other. Yeah, that frames it really nicely. I like that a lot. Okay, that's good. And now the question is, do I need anything else? I do have this leftover piece from the ticket that we just used on the bottom. Do we want to add that? Oh, I do like that. Again, trying not to have everything like this, but to go more diagonally. I'm just gonna go for it. It's so cute. Sometimes I get comments saying that I'm so brave to just try things and to experiment, but you know, I just think this is what our journals are about, because they don't go into a museum. Like, what I'm doing here is only for myself and of course to inspire you, but this is not going anywhere. So by experimenting here in my journal, I mean, it is the perfect place to experiment. Where else, if not in my own journal, would I experiment? So I say, go for it. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong, but you've learned from it, I'm sure. So that's the fun, because we learn new things. I would not be able to keep being interested in these journals if I wouldn't constantly be learning new things. This is why I've loved this journey of junk journaling for quite a few years now, because it's always new, it's always interesting, there's always new things that inspire me, and so it stays interesting. Otherwise I will get bored so quickly with something. So this is the flap now. I'm really happy with that. I think it's really cute. So the special thing I wanted to add to this envelope is an email I got from one of my wonderful viewers. Her name is Janet. So what Janet wrote me was, I had a couple of A5 envelopes and decorated them with your ephemera. So this is like a few days after my shop had opened. The pictures are on slide out cards. I'm quite new to this. I learned about junk journals just after lockdown started here due to COVID and took it up as a pastime. I love it and YouTube is a great help. Janet. So Janet sent me a photo of her tags that she made using some of the printables from my shop, and this is the first email I received with somebody using my printables, and of course this is so special to me. So thank you again so much, Janet, for sending me that email and for allowing me to add it to my journal, because this is truly a very special moment for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to maybe make this into a little booklet. Like this. That's so cute. And this maybe I will just cut out. I don't need all that on the top. I just need the text, date maybe. I think I'm actually going to cut out the single lines here and then I can glue them in. So I've cut them into lines so that I can chop them down further. And of course I don't want to have a white back side, so I found this scrap piece of some letter paper that I had coffee dyed, and I'm going to glue that down on the inside. So I'm just gonna trace this and then glue those together. So I've just trimmed this down and I'm just gonna put some glue on this. Just trim off any excess here. And I'm gonna ink around these as well. Maybe the tulips wasn't the best background choice for an October themed envelope. What I was thinking was that, of course, again, these are white, which we don't want. So I'm going to ink these up again with my tea dye. And now I'll just cut them down to fit the little booklet, and I'll just do them straight across. This is probably the most complicated way of doing this ever. Okay, so this is pretty much covering up the tulip anyway, so maybe if we just add a little mushroom, maybe we can just get away with it. No, we cannot. This is not working. So what do we do? This was a really bad choice. You know what? I'm just gonna let it go. It is what it is. It's still pretty, it's nature, it's fine. So I'm just gonna run some glue along these and just glue them all down. Okay, granted, this is not my best work, but it's all right. And I do think it just needs something else down here. So I have some images from my flowers and shrubs download that I have already, what do you call it, fussy torn? I've torn around anyway. And some of these could be, like they could be for the fall season, right? Blueberries grow in fall, no? Summer, fall, something like that. So some of these might actually work here. Let me see. Oh, and these, I forgot what these are called in English. In German, they're called Hagebutten. And my BFF and I were just on a walk and we were just collecting these actually. Hey, hang on, let me show you. So we have just been collecting these and we're going to be making some jam out of these because they are packed with vitamin C. And so I think I'm going to be doing that today. Hopefully that will work out. So really nice to see these actually, because they are very cute and they remind me of our walk. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing here for the envelope, but it's something that is present. Yeah, that's gonna work. That is present in my mind, and that is something that is happening in my life at the moment, so I can kind of document it this way without even having to write a word about it. This can kind of just be like a reminder to me that this was happening in my life at that time too. It's like a visual documentation. Sometimes we don't feel like writing, so we can just put down a picture or an image. Kind of random, but still. There, at least now we have something to look at, like a visual besides just the text. Okay, so this is our little booklet. Now I'm wondering if I should maybe tie it shut. I could, right? That would be cute. Yeah. I am taking my pokey tool and I'm going to poke through both sides of this. Hopefully not gonna poke through the message. Just like that. Yeah, that worked. And I'm gonna use some off-white twine. I don't want it to be hard to open, so I think what I'll do is I'll put one through each hole, so then I can just tie them together and it's easy to open the booklet gently, because I don't want to tear it. So one. Now we can just tie a bow with these. Like that. Isn't that cute? And now we can add this to our envelope. Now we need to think about how can we add it to our page. There are several options, of course. We could just take a paper clip or something and clip it on like this, or we could also glue it on. So we would glue just a strip down here and here, so this becomes a tuck spot, while on the back we could still flip this open and have access to our little message and see our collage. That's another option. The other option is we could of course do the same thing on the top, just like this, and then we could stick something in here. That would also be actually really cute. I do like that. Another option is, there's so many options here. Another option is to have it like this and then to just glue it down on the three sides and have it as a pocket like this. And of course we can still access the booklet like this. We could also glue it down like this and then put something in sideways. We could of course glue it in like this and just glue here and have it as a tuck spot from here. I'm very torn between the idea of just having it up here, being able to tuck something in here. But on the other hand, I don't really want to split up this envelope because I really love how the two here, how they work together. So I think what I would rather do is just to glue it on here on the three sides and have this be a pocket. So I'm just gonna glue it here and on the bottom and on this side. And I don't want to decorate this because I actually love seeing this here. So now I need to find something that I can add to the pocket. The piece I've decided to use as ephemera to put in here is this gorgeous image. Maud had used this in one of her spreads and I think she was showing it on Instagram if I'm not mistaken, and I commented on it and she kindly sent me this image and I just think it's so adorable and it makes me think of Maud, although Maud has red hair. But still, she's so cute, and I think of Maud when I see this because she sent it to me and she had it in her journal. She's smiling, so I think she's in her happy place. She's in nature, she has flowers. This could be like an end of summer. She could be in September. This is totally plausible for me. It's even got similar blues to the tickets that I have, so I think it's really nice together. And of course, I don't just want to stick her in as she is. I want to back her with something. So I'm again taking one of those book pages from my Reader's Digest bullet junk journal. And I'm going to just fold this in half. And that makes, I think, the perfect size to make like kind of a tag for her to be on. Yes, this is perfect. So I'm first gonna glue these together, which makes it more sturdy. And then why don't we make this into a tag shape? There is enough room, so I will just cut off 2 corners. So I go like this, and then I fold it over, or flip it over to the other side to get this approximately the same angle. And now we have a cute tag shape, which again, we're going to ink around both sides, front and back. Now this is where you can see that this is tacky glue and not art glitter glue, is because this is a bit wavy. Not too bad, you can see it a little bit, but of course the art glitter glue does not do that. So that is something I really appreciate the original art glitter glue for, but it's okay. So the tacky glue is of course better just for smaller surfaces rather than larger surfaces if the waviness bothers you. So I think one touch that would also be really cute to tie these two together even more. I mean, they are already tied together because I'm using the same book page, so they work really nicely together, including of course the blue color. But what I also thought we could do is maybe as a tag topper, we could add 2 more of these leaves, and we can definitely use some of the bigger ones. Who knew that these would come in so handy? You never know. Like that. I think that's a really cute tag topper. Almost looks like she has bunny ears. Is it too much? No, I'll just keep it. I think it's cute. Might be a bit much, but that's okay. I love how it now all goes together. So this is the first page of our third and last signature of our future journal. I hope you enjoy this new prompt list. I think there are so many fun things to do here. I'm gonna circle this so that I know I have done this. Please don't forget to check out Maud's video. I can't wait to do that myself, because obviously we are airing at the same time, so I haven't had a chance to look at hers. Have a crafty and a lovely day, and hope to see you soon. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. It would mean the world to me, and subscribe if you haven't. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.